Gauteng's eToll plan. What is wrong with it? Well, quite a lot, but here's a summary. In 2004, the need for Gauteng's Freeway Improvement Project, abbreviated as GFIP, was planned to deal with the increasing congestion on Gauteng's freeways. A normal decision that authorities take to keep pace with a growing economy. It had to be done, and no one bemoans this fact. The question is, how does one fund this freeway upgrade? Normally, this kind of social infrastructure is funded using society's taxes. In addition, we have the fuel levy, a user pays tax applied specifically to motorists. Today's fuel levy of R2.13 per litre produces well over 40 billion rands for the national tax coffers per annum, which is far more than what is spent on South Africa's roads. It is also interesting to note the Presidential Commission for the Review of State-Owned Entities recommended in June 2013 that funding for social infrastructure, including roads, should rely less on the user pays mechanism and more on taxation. There are concerns around the costs of the 185-kilometer freeway upgrade. In 2006, SANRAL estimated it to be 6.8 billion rands, but which some 5 years later, by 2011, cost them, or rather the South African citizens, over 20 billion rand. This equates to over 100 million rand per kilometer, most of which, by the way, was a few centimeters resurfacing of the existing freeway. Thanks to the Competition Commission investigation, we now know that society was overcharged for the freeway upgrade due to construction company collusion. But will SANRAL work hard for society and sue these companies to recover these overcharges? Well, we shall have to wait and see. But it's on the e-tolling decision where serious issues and questions abound. In October 2007, as part of its legal requirements, SANRAL conducted a dismal and meaningless public engagement program, largely consisting of one unclear advert placed in 6 newspapers in seeking comment from Gauteng motorists. It was so poor, they received only 28 responses from over 3.5 million motorists. It's no wonder society was astounded in 2010 when SANRAL began to erect an elaborate 45 gantry eToll system onto their existing freeways, in an attempt to extract funds from the road users to pay for the upgrade. In 2009, the tender for the collection and management of the eTolls was awarded to the electronic tolling company, known as the ETC joint venture, which by the way is effectively 85% owned by European-based Capes Trafficom. Their tender of 10.1 billion rands reflected, amongst other things, a cost of 8.4 billion rands for the operations and maintenance of eToll collections through the management of the Transaction Clearinghouse and Violations Processing Center. This being for a 5-year period, whereafter the tender goes out again. That is a lot of money before 1 rand goes into the tarmac. That's also a lot of extra roads, schools, clinics and other social infrastructure we could have built with that money. Capes Trafficom themselves publicly announced in June 2013 that they will earn at least 670 million rand per annum from Gauteng's eToll revenues. This eToll decision is regarded as a most irrational, inefficient and grossly expensive way to collect funds from society for an urban freeway upgrade. The fuel levy, on the other hand, attracts zero administration fees. It is simple to apply and all the money collected from road users goes into the tarmac. One must ask why Treasury cannot allocate an estimated 2 billion rands per annum for a period of 2 decades to finance the capital and interest costs of GFIP. This is less than 0.2% of Treasury's annual receipts. And if Treasury simply could not find these funds, why didn't they consider the addition of a mere 9 cents to the fuel levy back in 2006 when the GFIP was planned? Had they done so, by today they would have already raised the 17 billion rand capital costs of the road upgrade when one includes the 5.7 billion rands allocated to the GFIP by Treasury in February 2012. A question often asked is, why should all SA road users pay through the national fuel levy for Gauteng's roads? Well, it's quite simple. Gauteng's roads are South Africa's roads. The entire country benefits from the efficiencies and tax revenues generated through Gauteng, the region that produces almost 40% of Treasury's receipts, yet they receive less than 10% thereof for Gauteng's needs. So if the entire country benefits from Gauteng's taxes and economic activity, it makes sense that national taxation and fuel levies should be used to finance the capital and bonds required for Gauteng's freeway infrastructure upgrade. Today, there is enough evidence that exposes e-tolling's administration process and enforcement mechanisms as being inefficient and grossly flawed. It will simply never achieve the high levels of compliance required for success. Most sectors of society have condemned the e-toll plan, from business to labour to major religious groups to the South African Local Government Association, as well as all political parties, barring of course the ruling party. The list is long. Today, SANRAL have missed 5 e-toll launch dates, wasting years of time, money and effort, trying to implement a most cumbersome, unpopular, unenforceable and virtually unworkable system. Our call to government is simply this: please call off Gauteng's ill-conceived e-toll plan. Everything points to its failure, if indeed it is ever forced into being in its current format and with its current contracts. Start again, and this time around seek input from all stakeholders, most importantly the users. Together we can find a solution to raise the funds in an efficient manner and from a willing society. Together we can get SANRAL's credit rating back to where it ought to be, and we can get SANRAL back to doing what they do best, building roads for the country. And we can all get on with our jobs of building a nation whose prosperity ought to be far greater than what it is today.